Hi everyone, this is Medium and excuse me. Hi everyone, this is Medium and Channel Bonnie Vent, and I hope everyone made it this evening. YouTube has been up and down all day, so I've been kind of curious as to whether or not people were going to be able to make it. So hopefully everybody's YouTube is back up and running, and they had a little bit different plan for this evening, and if we are having technical difficulties, then we may need to change that. I don't see anyone in the chat at this point, so if you are listening, if you just type a hi into the chat, that would be very helpful so that I know that you're there. Hi, Juanita. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with YouTube and notifications and things like that. So it may be that people don't remember necessarily that the show is on. Like I say, very rocky day with YouTube. It was down for me most of the day. And the energy was a little bit strange also. Just seemed very draining for some reason or other. And other people were talking about this as well throughout the week, that they just felt like they had no energy, like all the energy was just drained out of them, which is usually a sign that we're going to be doing another shift. And for me, they're actually having me shift pretty quickly with these sessions. So what they wanted to do, which I guess I can go ahead and do and record, and it can be here for later on. Hi, Andrea. The connection wanted me to bring in people who have been over on the other side to come in and chat a little bit about their life story. And the reasoning behind this is that it seems to be the biggest question we have is what happens to our family members, what happens to us after we leave here. And hi, Southern Sweetie 88. I think your name is Heather, but if I forgot, please correct me. Maybe I need to, hi, Elijah. Maybe I need to start over a little bit, and that's fine too. There's been quite a bit of issues with YouTube today, so I'm not surprised that it's a little bit of a delay. Oh, I got your name right. Thank you. So what the connection has asked me to do is actually a project that was started several years ago that I wanted to present for television, because you could actually recreate the circumstances of these people's lives. But the fact is that it was named the Transition Project. And it was actually people that came through to me, not in sessions with family members, just on their own, came through to me and said, we've been asked to participate in this project, and we would like to shed some light on what our lives were like and what happened at the time of our death and what happened after that. And so it's being presented again in this format, which is very, very different than a television show. But the same kind of thing, because the underlying need to know still remains. And so this, your husband's on the other side, Juanita? Okay. So the intent here is not to bring in family members of the people in the chat. I want to make that really clear. These are people that are actually participating in a project that is on their side, trying to communicate into our side. And so very fascinating thing to participate in. Yeah, Andrea says she feels a spirit hanging around. It's very common to, if you're paying attention, it's very common to Hi, Cake Soap. Asalu, I hope I pronounced that right. Watching from Africa, welcome. So I was going to say it's very common to, if you're paying attention, to feel family members around you. And those are usually very pleasant feelings. And there seems to be a disconnect between what happens in real life and what is represented on television. And what is represented on television tends to be, hi Tams, tends to be kind of a horror show and demons in the dark and all of that. That is not even remotely what happens 99.9% of the time. Now, are there people, living people, that are dangerous, hard to get along with, criminal? Of course. So that would also exist on the other side potentially too, if they wanted to hold on to those traits. They don't have to. So they could potentially have that. They could be just angry about their circumstances and it gets misinterpreted into that something is evil or a demon or, you know, that kind of thing. And having worked a lot with the television shows, I can tell you that they are more than happy to tell you it's for entertainment only, and that they over dramatize or sometimes just don't even represent anything remotely of what's going on in the situation, because that's what people tend to want to see. And so they give people what they want to look at. But it also seems that there's a big percentage of people that are more interested in the real thing and what really happens when we cross over. And also the people that remain behind. And I work with a lot of the spirit people that remain behind. And the ones that I do are here still for a good reason, or at least a good reason in their mind as to why they still remain here. So that becomes a very interesting historical research project for me in some cases. And I think the person that wanted to come through this evening, and we'll see if that happens, is actually well known in history, but was not well known in life. And it was her set of circumstances that surrounded her death being very mysterious that caused her to be well known, and a legend that cropped up from that that is very unsavory. And pretty much the same as you or me, if someone's out there telling over and over and over the same story about you and it isn't true and it's not a positive story, you tend to want to get that straightened out. Now, in her case, she was actually at the Hotel Del Coronado, and she passed away in 1892, and she was shot and did not actually know all of the circumstances that related to her death. So she chose to stick around and trying to figure out what was going on. And we walked into the hotel, and the first thing she wanted me to know was that her name is not correct. And then it leads from there, and you go into the newspaper accounts of the day and what was going on with this case. And there's actually a present day case in 2011 that also occurred very close by to the Hotel Del Coronado. And they're doing a lot of television shows about that particular case at the Spreckles Mansion. Similar kind of situation where legend can build up around a mystery because no one knows exactly what happened. So people fill in the blanks with what maybe they think happened, or they have a theory about what happened, and those things tend to get repeated over and over and over. Yeah, Elijah's talking about Marilyn Monroe. Yeah, Marilyn Monroe, I've had a lot of contact with her, and she tends to pop up in a lot of different places. She's been at the Hotel Del. She's also been at the Hollywood Roosevelt. And we actually recorded her coming directly through at the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel. And there again, she's talking about her life as Marilyn. And one of the things that was fascinating to me about Marilyn is that I didn't know that she was well known for her quotes. But she left me with this quote that sticks in my head to this very day, because what she said was, it's okay to let them pretty up your hair, but never let them redecorate your soul. And for someone who was so heavily marketed as a particular persona, and she was quite different from the way she was marketed, and she was trying to make the point that she got lost in all of the publicity and making her her outside image be a certain way. And there again, she died under very mysterious circumstances. She seems to have gotten past it, however. So it was very interesting to talk to her about how she feels about where she is now. And she talks about having tremendous amounts of freedom to where, you know, she can come and go and do whatever she wants and no one's controlling her. But she also was trying to warn people that were getting involved in the entertainment industry. And she said, be careful of the dark people that hang out at this hotel. And I think she was referring to living people, probably executives, sadly. And this was several years ago. And now, of course, you're starting to see some of the dark side of that industry being exposed and in the public eye, to where people are starting to, people that are not involved in the industry are starting to understand and know about some of the things that go on. So these conversations have been really, really interesting. Yeah, John Denver, I love John Denver. What a sweetheart. And I actually met a man who has his former car. And I think he runs a website in Australia, John Denver's car. So it's interesting that these people leave their mark behind, the celebrities, and then some are just infamous. And it is helpful to the spirit person to get their stories out and to get them straightened out. And to go back to the person at the Hotel Del Coronado, very, very famous legend, and they refer to her as Kate Morgan, but historically proves out that she's not Kate Morgan. And Kate Morgan was actually a missing person in Los Angeles at the same time that Lottie Barnard died on the grounds of the Hotel Del Coronado. And politics being what it was, they decided to very quickly match the two and close the cases, because it's bad for business to have dead bodies on the grounds of the hotel. And no one was coming forward to claim the person who died. So these become very interesting excursions through in the ones that choose to remain. But there are others who, most people actually very successfully transition over to the other side, and they're not lingering around on an ongoing basis. And they do seem to be working on other projects and other things, and they continue on in what looks like another type of life, not too dissimilar from the kind of things here, where they continue to learn and grow and experience new things. And in some cases, they say they really like the physical because of the density and the challenge, because in the dimension that they're in, they can actually create their environment just with their intention, and it just materializes. We found this out with Michael Jackson also in some of the work that I did with him, where he wanted to help, try to explain spiritually what was going on, after he calmed down about the events of his death. And he actually talked about being able to recreate a Neverland Ranch in his environment. And then he kind of laughed about how easy it was to create, because you don't need builders and you don't need permits and all the things that you need in the physical world. And in particular, he liked to hang out in the library. And I had not seen pictures of the Neverland Ranch Library, but I got a visual from him as to what it looked like. And I went and looked at the pictures, and it looks very much the same. And it's very, very interesting kind of thing. So I'm not really sure exactly what we're doing this evening on the channeling portion, and I don't mean to ignore your comments here. Let me see. Elijah said, I'm glad she's free, and I'll certainly take that advice with me when I head there. Absolutely. Yeah. They're actually trying to help and say, please don't fall into the same pitfalls that I did, because I was naive and I didn't realize what was going to happen. And Heather says, that makes me so happy since his Neverland here was jaded for him. Absolutely. And he never did go back to Neverland Ranch after all the things that happened there in the past, because it just wasn't a safe haven for him anymore. So I found it interesting that when he finally settled in, that he created that for himself, mostly the library. He didn't show me very much about the outside and the rides and things like that. So I don't know that he created that portion of it. So the library must have been a special place for just him, as opposed to most of Neverland Ranch. He wasn't even there a lot of the time, and people were coming in and enjoying the rides and how beautiful it was, and the statues and the ponds and all of those things. So the library, should probably ask him sometime. The library seems to have been like just for him. The other place that he showed me was where he would rehearse dancing. And it was mirrors all the way around and a hardwood floor that he would dance on. And Elijah is saying, as Michael said, I always study the greats. Yeah, I think he spent a lot of time in that library when he was there. And Heather says, I read somewhere that he reads a lot. His library was huge and very eclectic. Yeah, he really had a thirst for learning and knowledge, and seemed to be incredibly spiritually aware. There was even a couple of interviews where he talked about his music being channeled, and he said it came from God. And they'd better quickly write it down, or it was a joke, but he'd better quickly write it down or it'd be given to Prince. Supposed to be a joke, supposed to be funny, but in fact, universal downloads do come to more than one person. And it's a matter of who is actually going to bring that into the third dimension and take action on it. Because not everyone does. We all get inspirational thoughts and then we don't do anything with them. So let me see. Yeah, okay. Oh, Elijah, are you going to put Marilyn Monroe's saying on a t-shirt? Yeah, I should probably do that, because I actually have I'm an Amazon t-shirt designer. I should probably do that. Elijah says, I know exactly what you're describing. The dance studios imprinted in my psyche. Yeah, yeah. Very true. It's about the follow through. It really is, because we all have great ideas, but you actually have to take action on them, and you have to really stretch and grow and be brave, and don't be worried about what anybody else thinks. And for whatever reason, they're putting me out as the poster child for that, because this is not what I ever would have thought I'd be doing. And they're giving me something different each time, so that we're not like just doing the same little routine rut kind of situation. So I never know when I turn the camera on what they're going to do. It's all like coming directed, and, you know, say this, say that, give a little taste of this and that. And so I know I took a survey before I started doing these as to whether people just wanted the carpools, or they wanted just channeling, or they wanted a little of both. And I think most people said they wanted a little bit of both. And so it was a matter for me of getting me comfortable with doing the card pulls, because that's not something that I normally do. I'm a channeler, so I do channeling predominantly. And so, hi, Belinda. So since it's not something that I normally do, they said, okay, do that. And of course, I'm wondering, why am I doing this? What's the rhyme or reason? And a lot of times I don't know. And it's just a matter of following where you're feeling that energy going, and just taking a little bit of faith that they're taking you on a journey, and they reveal it to you a little bit at a time. It can be a little unnerving also, because you literally, it's a part of the Cryon material, but it resonates with me, because Cryon talks about, you have a piece of paper in front of you and it's a map, and it has a big red X on it, and it says, you are here. And that's exactly right. You are here on a blank sheet of paper. So where do you want to go? So the first thing is, you need to start taking steps, and then get the road signs along the way and pay attention as you go. And you'll wind up in some very interesting places that you would not have thought you were going to be going to. Oh, you like everything I've done, Juanita? Thank you. What's more easy for me, the card reading or the channeling? Channeling is much easier for me. As a natural state, I'm a wide open channel, which for those of you that are empaths, I tell you what, that's the good of the difficult, because to be a wide open channel, you receive all energy that's coming at you. And so you also deal with the energy of people that are negative or angry or whatever their emotions are. Those like hit you like a giant wave. And you have to learn how to balance your energy around your body so that you can protect yourself from that, because it can be incredibly overwhelming. So if you don't like crowds and you feel uncomfortable, that's probably why, because you've got that sensitivity where you're actually feeling other people's energies. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do, what do you want me to do? Okay, I think what they want me to do is just open up and let whoever comes through come through. And they're telling me that there's a line, but we're just going to do one at a time. So, okay. So while I'm channeling, obviously, I will not be able to look at the chat. And, you know, once again, my apologies. I'm trying to keep an eye on it, but when I talk, I tend to not read at the same time. So I'm just going to open up the channel, and my understanding is the connection has made arrangements for people to come through, and we'll just see how this works out and whether we continue doing this or not. It really is an experiment, so I'm not trying to present any particular kind of format or anything. We're just really testing it to see what is going to happen and what goes on. So you guys have all been very loyal, and so I feel very comfortable in trying things out and doing new things, and I appreciate you greatly for being there and being as supportive as you've been. And hopefully this is helpful to not only to you in the chat, but to everybody else. And there again, the primary thing is just to get an understanding that after we leave here, we still exist and we're okay. We may have issues if we died under mysterious circumstances, or we're angry about the way our life ended and those kind of things. So that actually is very real also. But most people transition quite easily. And if you talk to medical professionals, if they will tell you the truth, most of them will tell you that you can tell right before a person is going to cross, they get visitations and they get prepared. But what doesn't happen is a preparation of those of us that remain behind. And that's why grieving is such a painful process, because we miss them horribly, where they go over to the other side and it's a blink of an eye before you're going to be there too. So they go on and do the things that they're going to do, come back and visit you periodically, check in, make sure you're doing okay, and they're fine. So no need to worry about them. But for yourselves, if you're going through that where you've lost a loved one or a pet or anything that you love that you lose, there's a grieving process. And you just have to be very kind with yourself. But I think the more you understand that we do still exist after we leave here, maybe the easier it is to get through that grieving process. And also be aware that they do come back and visit, and it's not your imagination. When you see a particular flower or a butterfly or smell a scent that is their signature scent, or cigar smoke, or all of those things happen to regular people on an ongoing basis. They're very, very normal. Okay, so let me get a little drink of water here. And whoever comes through, they're just going to say whatever they're going to say. I have no idea. So let's. Hi, Shashi. Hello, everyone. I got selected for this to be first, I believe, because I have a past history with the channel, and they wanted me to let you all know that she did indeed help me with my transition process. You would have known me in my last life as Charlotte Barnard, or Lottie. And I did indeed die in 1892 on the grounds of the Hotel Del Coronado. And I was with a gentleman that I consider to be my love interest and business partner. And just as I would imagine you can relate, he betrayed me and caused my death to occur. I didn't know this at the time that I met the channel and her research partner. My understanding was that I was at the wrong place at the wrong time, and I took responsibility for that. As in 1892, a woman was not allowed to walk around unescorted. I did indeed do this, and I left dinner and went to the stairs looking out on the ocean for a breath of fresh air. When I was sitting there, I heard a gunshot ring out, and I lifted slowly to see where it was coming from and was hit by another bullet. Now, that is not suicide, which is what the police officials said it was. But I took responsibility and wanted more information. I stayed around the grounds of the hotel for quite some time and ran into, as you would say, many people that were interested in investigating the paranormal. And I must say that I learned these words while watching them try to watch me. So if you're wondering why I know modern words, I wanted to let you know that I still have the capability of learning new things, even though they may be confusing to me. I had to learn by listening and looking at what people were pointing at or talking about. This is how I learned about microphones and cameras, because they were so present and surrounded by the calling of what one would consider to be my energy, except they kept calling for Kate Morgan. I didn't know what they meant, so I would come and see what they were doing. But the calling of the energy can, if I choose, put me into your dimension. So I had the ability to observe what was going on. One of the things I found disheartening was that most said they were there to help me, but they quickly left. So not so helpful. But when I found this channel, she was able to ask the right questions of me so that it could be researched and I could find out the truth of my death. And in fact, I was murdered. I was not a suicide. I am also aware of the present day murder mystery that is going on really down the street from the hotel. And I find it very similar in some ways to my situation, where I was with a wealthy businessman and his business dealings caused my death. But I also want you to know the good news, which is that now that I know all of the particulars, or most of them, I no longer feel the need to be in that area. And I have moved on into other things that I am working on. And because of my experience and my ability to come into 3D comfortably, they have allowed me to work on this project as the first person that is not famous, but infamous, as it is an interesting thing that if you're not well known, people tend to not care as much. But for those of you who have lost a loved one, you care just as much as if they were famous, do you not? So we want you to understand a little bit about my own journey and story, and also that it is fine. There is no need to be concerned, as we will all leave one dimension and go into another, and some will even decide to go back and live another life. But that is an agreed upon choice. So we think we have provided enough information for this session, as this is quite a bit to digest. And because I already have experience with the channel, the ability to come through in this setting is a little bit easier because she's already comfortable with the energy and I'm comfortable with her energy. I bring this up as it is a necessity that there be a compatibility of the energies in order for this process to take place. The channel herself has the question of how does this work? So we are trying to provide that to others that might have that question as well. And I am working with other people and with her higher level guidance, but I was an individual living an individual life. So you will notice that the manner is different and some of my personality comes through, which you do not see when channeling guidance. We hope this is more comfortable for you as a process. And if it is well received, there are other people that wish to come forward as well. So at this time, I will close. Thank you very much for your time and your attention. Okay. Whew. Wow. Everybody's silent. Either that or my screen isn't working. I don't know. Are you guys all still out there? Because we're going to switch gears and do the card pulls. So just kind of lighten things up a little bit. Okay, everybody's still here. Great, thank you. Good, good, good. Thanks so much. Okay, so I'm going to pull a card for the group, and it looks like I used up a lot of our time. But I think it's important. I think the channeling is the primary thing that I'm supposed to do. So, oh, thank you, Sashi. Thank you, Tams. Yeah, Lottie's really a very nice energy because she's from a different time. And so she's very calm because they were very restrained in that time period. And so she doesn't like get upset and rant and rave or anything like that. So she's a very nice energy. Yeah, and it's interesting, she draws a parallel between herself and the 2011 murder mystery at the Spreckles Mansion. She was very upset when that happened. I was working with her at the time. And she wanted me to do something about that, which I did. I turned over information to all the proper parties as to what was going on there. Okay. Group card is renewal. Review and evaluate, which is what you need to do with this video when it goes back up. A favorable assessment of the facts. Time to move in a new direction. You can see that okay. So one of the things I've noticed when I'm doing channeling work is that people say that it's like peeling an onion. The more they play it back and listen to it, the more information they get from it. And so I'm going to be listening back. I hope you guys do too. Bear wants to know why a spirit is entering. Why is a spirit entering my dreams? That can be a visitation. Lauren's in chat's hard with iPhone. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, YouTube's having some difficulties today. People coming into your dream state can be there to deliver messages to you that you're not comfortable with hearing when you're awake, or maybe you don't have the ability to tune in to that degree. And so they can come in while you're in dream state. And one of the things to look for is if you remember vividly what they said, what they did, what the circumstances are, the colors, the smells, those things, that's the earmarks of an actual visitation, as opposed to just having a regular dream. So I'm going to try and get a little closer to the microphone here. Maybe if I talk a little louder. Can you hear a little better, Lauren, I hope? Oh, you meant the text chat. Oh, okay, I thought you couldn't hear me. Okay. All right, so Juanita wanted a card and Andrea wanted a card. And I'll put one for Lauren too, just because he's having trouble. So I think I'll do Lauren first. And Lauren knows a little bit about the Hotel Del Coronado because he stays there quite a bit. Okay, so this is ego, a false sense of entrapment, being overly focused on material things, negative or fear-based thoughts. So my sense there is there's a step to the side. That's what my visual is, that there's something in front of you. You need to get past whatever that is because it's a block. But if you just take one step to the side, you'll be able to see clearer. And I hope that makes sense. And it is fear-based, that anxiety-based, in that step to the side means that you have a growth opportunity. And so you have to drop any fear and anxiety you have about taking that step. And Tams is asking, can spirits interfere with your sleep? Your sleep's been poor lately. Actually, it's not so much spirits per se, but there's a lot of energy coming in, solar energy, which is making us have difficulty with our sleep patterns. I've been having that issue as well. Just you don't sleep through the night. You're up at usually it's around 3 o'clock in the morning for me. A lot of other people too are saying the same thing, that they tend to be up in the middle of the night and they can't get back to sleep. And it's just the energy is very intense, and so you have trouble relaxing so that you can go back to sleep. And George is saying, my question is, I see 9/11 all the time. I understand the number 9/11 means angels are communicating with me. I'd like to know what messages they're trying to provide at this time. Okay. I'll go ahead and pull a card for you, George. And I also need to do one for Andrea, so don't forget. Okay. This one's for George. The Four of Air, time to rest or take a vacation. Allow more time before making a decision. Meditation may provide the answer. So my sense is what they're trying to tell you is you need to stop and you need to rest and relax and get ready for the next thing going ahead. But you're at kind of a crossroads kind of period right now. So they just want you to relax about it and not be stressed out. It's like, what am I going to do? You know, sometimes you just have to sit and wait a minute until you get an energy pull in one direction or another. So that's the suggestion there, is just relax and breathe. And Shashi says, I have always seen sparkles around me. All of a sudden and often made me feel like I am dizzy, but I am not. What is that? I can't even frame my question properly as I'm confused. Those sparkles are just little bits of energy around you, and they can be spirit energy, or it can actually be you and your own energy, and it's sparkling off of your aura. So if you're doing meditation or any spiritually oriented work where you're opening up your chakras, you can get those sparkles. And it can cause, if you're not used to it, the opening of the crown chakra can cause dizziness and kind of a sick to your stomach headache kind of feeling, but it goes away pretty quickly. It's just adjusting and getting that chakra open. And Liberty is asking when you and Michael will see each other and what is he going through right now. He's working on a bunch of different projects. He came through last week and he was talking about the downloads of information for singers, dancers, entertainers, people that are creative. And so he's still working on highly creative projects. And also looking out for his children. And, you know, he has not fully transitioned. He keeps a very close eye on what's going on. Yeah, Tams is saying she's up between 3 and 3:30. Yeah, other people are having that situation as well. You're welcome, George. Bear is saying, how can you tell if it's a good spirit or a bad spirit? Let me know if you need any details from me. It shouldn't, that good spirit, bad spirit thing is really kind of a legacy from the television shows. Unless the spirit person's angry, you know, and they can be, they do still have their emotions when they leave here. So worst case, they're angry. But if you're not getting that sense, you know, you have to go by what are you feeling and what are you sensing? And that's how you tell. And also, what information are they providing? Is the information positive or is the information negative? And they're human beings like we are. So they have all the good attributes and they have all the not so nice attributes of human nature. Yeah, son Alice says he used to see sparkles when he was a child. That's a very good sign. It's a very good sign. Okay, Amelia would like a card pulled. The Three of Earth, the power of creativity, recognition for very high quality work, and be a team player. So it sounds like, what am I getting for you? There's a project you're going to work on, but they're not co-workers. They're other people of similar interests that you're going to bring in to work on something. Something very artistic is my sense. I hope that's correct. I forgot Andrea, and I need to do Juanita. Okay. This one's for Andrea. 4 of air. Time to rest and take a vacation. Allow more time before making a decision. Meditation may provide answers. So there again, spiritual growth time. Stop, take a break, and see what you want to do next. Okay, card for Juanita. 2 of air. Being unable or unwilling to make a decision, a stalemate, pretending there is no problem. So it's time to get your thoughts together and take action, because denial is not going to just waste time. So look at the situation as it really is and start getting your plans together. That's what that tells me. I did Andrea, didn't I? I think I did. Did I do Andrea? If I didn't. Okay. Cake Soap would like a card. And welcome, because you're new to this group, I think. Knight of Air, intelligent, decisive, idealistic, tireless. Events that occur with great speed. Take time to carefully review your options. Creative solutions. So that's your card. So I don't know if you make soap because that's your handle, but if you do, then we already know that you're creative. So that card's perfect for you. Okay, Tams would like a card. Balance. The need for balance and moderation, cooperation and compromise. Wait for perfect timing. So sounds like changes are afoot for you as well. And it's just a matter of picking where and when you want to do it. So you need to get your plans in place so that you can move forward when you want to move forward. But the timing is up to you. Okay, Heather would like a card. Nine of Earth, enjoying life's little luxuries, spending quiet time alone, successful self-employment. So we're all kind of heading in that direction where we're going to do more work for ourselves. Oh, you're welcome, Tams. So if you're not currently working for yourself, work on something on the side so that you're ready to move when the time comes. So whatever brings joy and interest, start studying up on it and working on it in your spare time. dreamed that I was sitting in a boat comprised only of a frame, and I was being pushed into the ocean back of the boat first. I was screaming at this very large spirit, please not to push me. Okay, well, they will honor that, but I think they're trying to give you a message. You really need to start moving forward. You need to choose. Also, there's a choice that needs to be made, and once the choice is made, you need to not look back and just stay on the new path and keep moving forward once you make your choice. But there's a conflict between going this way or going that way. They each have their own pluses and minuses. You have to weigh them out, which one is the best. They're not compatible with each other, so you can't do both of them at the same time. You have to choose one, go down that path. You can always choose another down the road, but for now you can only choose one path at a time. Okay, so Belinda would like a card. 3 of air. Great sadness, time to heal, the need to forgive yourself or others. So that's part of the not looking back once you've made the choice. So you need to forgive whatever happened, whatever mistakes were made, forgive yourself, forgive others, and then move ahead in a new direction. Okay, Patty would like a card, and then we're going to do the group card because we're almost out of time. So Patty, you get to be the last card of the session. The Dreamer, which is Archangel Metatron, by the way. A leap of faith, follow your dreams, unexpected opportunities. So that's really, really good. But you need to be able to handle unexpected opportunities too, because people have a tendency to just say no because they don't know what's going on, so they just say no. You need to assess it first and try and find a yes if you can find a yes. Okay, Sonel, I'm going to squeeze you in. Six of Earth. Give some money, time, or effort, new career opportunities, receive a loan, or paying off of debts. So opportunities seems to be our theme for the night, and to recognize an opportunity and make an assessment of it. Just don't automatically say, oh, that's too scary. No, 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 I can't. So the energy, as erratic as it is, it's also full of tremendous amounts of opportunities, but they're kind of like diamonds in the rough, and you have to get the dirt off of them and look to see what the opportunity is and negotiate what is going to work best for you, because that puts your intent in it also. And it's not necessarily just dollars and cents either. Sometimes there's perks you can negotiate for too that don't cost the other person anything, but are like just amazing, you know, for you as an opportunity. So keep it open and ask for what you want. Okay, this is going to be the final card for the group. For your inspiration for the week ahead. And I hope you all grab onto those opportunities and make your choices. So we already got this card for tonight, but I'll say it again because for everybody. 3 of Earth, the power of creativity, recognition of very high quality work, and be a team player. So get together with other like-minded people and put some projects together and start working on some business opportunities. spiritually oriented business opportunities, I should also add. This is what's going to be going on in the future, as opposed to the traditional 8 to 5 kind of working situation. It's going to be much more creative and free-flowing. Okay, does anyone have any final comments before I bid you adieu for this evening? You're welcome, Andrea. You're welcome, Sanel. I'm glad it made sense. Okay, well, thanks very much, everyone, for coming. And please do give me feedback throughout the week on the channel sessions as to whether you want me to continue with those, whether you like them, or what you would like to see changed or different, or any of those things. Really appreciate the feedback from everybody. Oh, you're welcome, Elijah. And thank you for moderating in the chat for me. So have a great week, everyone. And the energy is going to stay erratic. So keep your balancing acts going, because it's going to be good. It's going to be good. Oh, you're welcome, Tams. You're welcome, Lauren. All righty. Good night, everyone.